CBS Sports' Candid Coach series has been one of my absolute favorite things of the offseason. They do this every year at this point, or at least a series of years in a row now, and there's always just some pretty impeccable takeaways from it. You get a real sense of who's respected within the world of college basketball by their peers and who's not. And something has come out of one of the latest renditions of this ongoing Candid Coaches series. And the question here was who will be the next first time head coach national champion? Basically, who can pull the Todd Golden, where last year he had not won a national championship. He wins it. Now he's a national champ. Who's the next coach who hasn't won one that's going to get one? And if you go through the results, Kelvin Sampson, Matt Painter were at the top of the list, as you would expect. Top two teams in the country, and neither one of them have a national championship previously. But also some other somewhat new head coaches got some votes here. John Shire, Mark Pope, Nate Oates, Tommy Lloyd, Dusty May, Grant McCasland all received multiple votes as the coach who will be next to win a national title. Interestingly enough, Pat Kelsey nowhere to be found on the list. Pat Kelsey did not get any votes from his peers on being the next first-time national champion. But anyways, along with the votes, there were a lot of quotes that anonymous coaches gave under the guise of this isn't going to be reported that I said this, and you get some real honesty coming out of this. There's a quote from someone who voted Mark Pope here that has made its rounds on social media. I'm going to read it. This is what one coach told CBS Sports, quote, "Since Kentucky can do things no other school can financially, Mark Pope would have to be a complete bozo to not win one soon." End quote. It's not exactly the rosiest way to say I voted for Kentucky's head coach here. This is more, if he's not a complete idiot, he'll win one. Do you think that's fair framing?
I don't think it's not fair, to be honest with you. I think it's crazy that Kentucky is like the leader of finances in a sport, by the way, just because like it's just not what you're traditionally like used to. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would expect like the LA schools or something like that, but it's not incorrect. Mark Pope can do things financially. He can do things with the fan base. He can do things with the program that nobody else can. So I don't think it's incorrect. I don't think it's fair because of everything, to be honest with you, that you say about March Madness. Like, it's fluky. It's very fluky. So a banner needs to be hung in the next couple years. I don't think it has to be a national championship banner though necessarily, just because like who knows what could happen? Like what if you get all the way to the national title this year and then Ortega goes 1 for 12 just in a 1 game sample size and you lose, but maybe you're the better team. And like maybe if you played 7 games, you win 4 out of 7, but you lost that one specific one. Or by the way, you get all the way to the national championship this year, you stare across, you see Purdue playing a home game. Boy, does that feel like a problem. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's too fluky. There's too many variables for me to say he has to win a national championship.
So it's kind of two different things, right? Like I don't think Pope is going to be under fire if he doesn't win a championship as long as there's gradual progression here, right? They made a Sweet 16 last year. That was an impeccable year one. Vibes are back restored within BBN. Everyone's happy. They just need to keep being in the mix, I think, right? Like go from a Sweet 16 to an Elite 8, go from an Elite 8 to a Final Four, mix in maybe an SEC banner along the way, a championship, and everyone's going to be happy. For the like I would assume whoever said this quote, like you probably only got to vote one coach, right? In the poll. So whoever voted this is basically saying Mark Pope should win one before anybody else does. And I don't know. I look, there are other quotes about like Kelvin Sampson and Pater in this article that are a lot rosier. Just a lot like, oh, like this guy's too good not to win one soon. That's not exactly what's being said about Pope here. It's just like if he doesn't, he's messing up big time. And I
Yeah.
do interpret it as a shot at Pope that you would even you would say that because if you believed in Mark Pope, the quote would just be like, "He's got all the resources. He's going to get it done." Instead, it's like, "Well, if he doesn't, he doesn't know what he's doing." And it does have me thinking. Like again, this is an anonymous coaches poll. Who do you think said this? Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Hmm. That's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girls' sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that, but honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
Probably like a Louisville person.
Just like a rival?
Yeah. Because, like, first off, Mark Pope to me is the correct answer because he gives you the most chances. Paint is probably like the answer if it's this specific year.
I think it's Shire.
Oh, that's actually, yeah. Shire, Pope give you the most opportunity at it.
And that's
Like,
not a shot at Kentucky, but Shire to me is just where Pope will be 3 years from now.
right, like Shire's always going to have a top four talented roster in the country. Pope at the moment, I think, is like on the cusp of that, but like
Yeah.
he's not there yet. But like those two names give you the most punches at this thing. And Payne is probably the correct answer if it's just this year. Sampson is probably the correct answer also if it's like this year or next. But Pope 10 years from now is could still be the correct answer.
Yeah.
So I agree with the answer. I think the comment on top of the answer is more so like a Louisville fan saying, all right, I guess here you go. I didn't want to do this, but here is my honest answer. But I'm also going to make it a little snarky because I'm a Louisville fan and I don't want to necessarily have to do this.
Okay. Let me propose a different outcome here. We sure this wasn't Coach Cal? Under the cloak of anonymity.
I love that. I love that.
I think there's a because Cal definitely voted in this poll. Like this is Parrish, Norlander, CBS is like main. I don't know. I don't want to say main project because they do a lot of great projects, but like this is a staple of their off seasons. They ask the biggest names in the sport these questions. Like they respectfully, the no name mid majors aren't answering this, right? So Cal definitely submitted a ballot for this.
Or Patino.
Oh, he would do that to his guy though, would he?
I think he would. So that's what makes Patino Patino. I don't think anybody's actually a Patino guy.
Patino's the one giving him the resources, and he's like, if he messed this up, I want my job back.
That feels like so Patina. God, it's a rough morning for me. Patino, mafia member in my eyes. What's more mafia than, hey, here's the money. If you don't spend it correctly, I'm taking it back. I'm taking your job, and I'm bringing my son with me this time.
Just the words of that sentence alone, Mark Pope would have to be a complete bozo not to win a title soon. That does feel very Patino. It feels straight out of the Rick Pitino lexicon. Like he would say those words. I don't think he'd say that about his guy, but it's more in Patino's whole aura than it is even Coach Cal's to say something like that. But it's probably like Lamont Paris or like somebody at an SEC school that has no resources who's just jealous as hell of Mark Pope, you
I was
know?
gonna say, what if it's like Hubert Davis?
That'd be pretty funny too. Yeah, we should rank our top 10 funniest coaches if they're the ones who said this. Um, but reining it back in, so just so I have this clear, Let's say we fast forward 5 years and Mark Pope hasn't won a national title. Is he a bozo? Or do you think that's not fair?
I think it depends on how he loses, to be honest with you. I think if he's losing early and isn't making like at least deep runs, isn't putting together rosters with multiple five stars on it, isn't having high level high school classes, transfer classes, so on and so forth, I would say yeah. But if he's checking all the boxes, top five recruiting class, both high school and transfers, he's coaching the hell out the game, which we know he will, and they just lose, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that terminology would be fair whatsoever, barring like he's a bozo if they start losing in the first round every year, or start building bad rosters. Like he very clearly is a smart coach. But to the original point, even of the entire question here, the number one vote getter here was Kelvin Sampson. He's 70. Kelvin Sampson's been a great coach for 40 years, right? Like there is a massive amount of luck and fortune involved in actually winning a national championship. Nobody ever wants to say that, but it's very real. And the reality is, Pope may not win a national championship for a long time while still being an amazing coach.
I mean, just to talk about the luck really quickly, this is my last point. John Shire is the first name on this list, right? Duke smokes Florida if they don't choke against Houston. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like Todd Golden's on this list if Duke doesn't blow like a double digit lead in 2 minutes, essentially, because they saw a press.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of luck it takes to have this happen. This whole list could look different. Pope might not even be named if Duke wins the national title last year. All the names might be Todd Golden.
Yeah. True.